Welcome back to PB J Cooking. I'm John Pardue. Let's get cooking. Now, tonight, you'll see when I do these shows, okay? First of all, I use a lot of ingredients over and over. There's certain ones I'm kind of passionate about. Tonight, I'm gonna take the same tortillas I've used before, okay? I've used these quite a bit. They're the Tomorrow low carb tortillas. You see me do enchiladas, you see me do a chocolate peanut butter bacon wrap. Tonight, I'm making a quesadilla. Now, not just any quesadilla, I'm making a Cuban sandwich quesadilla. So, for those of you out there that grew up in the Caribbean, around the Caribbean, or in a Latin heavy culture like I have, Cuban sandwiches are an absolute luxury. Now, the problem with that, the bread. As you know, most Cuban sandwiches are about 80% bread. So, instead we're going to use a quesadilla, a tortilla, make a quesadilla out of it, and really try to keep the carbs away, but at the same time enjoy all the wonderful flavors. Again, Tomorrow's is the actual tortilla I'm using. Feel free to go and find any one that works for you. This is the brand I like. The nutritional profile works very, very well for me. And we're going to use some very basic things tonight. So first of all, I've got a bowl here, 2 ounces of a honey maple ham that I get. Becca is the brand. Great brand, great flavor, first of all, and great nutritional profile. I've got about 12 grams of protein with that ham and 1 gram of fat and no carbs. Also, I went, and thankfully, now you may not be able to find this, but I can. There's a barbecue restaurant here in my area called Soul Man's Barbecue that does a smoked pork tenderloin. For those of you that don't know, pork tenderloin is just about as lean as chicken breast, and the taste is phenomenal. So if you can find it, get it. If not, you can also use pulled pork. Just ask them to do it very, very lean. That way you can get the fat out while they're pulling it. Otherwise, you can buy deli pork as well. That also works. I've got 4 ounces of that. Now that is actually 40 calories per ounce, 7 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat. And I've actually trimmed some of the fat out, so it's actually lower than that even, okay? Now, my other staple is my Lifetime, should say Lifeline, fat-free cheese. I'm using Swiss because Swiss is traditional on a Cuban sandwich. We're making a quesadilla, it works. Find a good mustard. Now be careful when you go and shop for mustard, okay? Traditional mustard is supposed to be almost no calories. But so many of these things now are creamy or honey and have all kinds of different flavor combinations. Read your label. You're gonna find massive, massive problems with the label with some of these, okay? So find one that's no calories. And yes, you're going to have some calories because you're going to use more than 1 serving. I get that. But you don't want one that says 70 calories per serving or anything like that, okay? And that's actually Grey Poupon. I apologize, I had that upside down because as you can tell, I've used some of this. I have to keep it this way so it stays at the bottom, makes it a little easier. But this one is a mild and creamy, great flavor, absolutely great flavor. Now, Clausen. I've chosen to use Clausen sliced dill pickles because it's not a hard vinegar bite, and with a Cuban sandwich you don't want a hard vinegar bite. So as much as I love some of your really, really zesty pickles, you don't want to do that for a Cuban sandwich. Basic things you're going to need: cooking spray, a couple of spatulas because you are going to flip this unless you're unbelievably talented, and I'm not there yet. Helps to have 2. And any kind of butter knife, spreader, so you can actually spread the mustard on top of this. But what I also want to tell you, give you a few tricks here. Take this, if it's been in the fridge, put it in the microwave for about a minute. Get it nice and warm, because while you're making the quesadilla, you're not going to fully warm that up before you burn the outside of the tortilla. So you do want this at least room temperature, if not already hot. Same with the cheese. I've pre-sliced the cheese. I'm using 4 ounces of the fat-free cheese tonight, which ends up being, I think it's 160 calories, it's 32 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbs, and no fat. I've pre-sliced that as well. I want that at room temperature so it will melt appropriately. But I'm going to take my tortilla, which I put in the plate, and I'm going to first of all take the roasted pork. I'm going to take that and just kind of line it, okay? I'm going to get as much coverage as I can. And a couple of things I want to keep in mind. I want this pretty close to the edge because it's going to have a little bit of bulk when you start folding this. And if you don't give it some leeway on the back side here, it's not going to fold all the way over. Little tricks, little tricks. Take your ham, start tearing it, make it appropriate to kind of fit all the way across your quesadilla. So take that. Then you want to kind of go in with pickles. We'll take the pickles, just basically kind of line them out. Pickle juice is a great thing, so don't be afraid to go crazy with the pickles. And this is optional. If you personally don't like pickles, don't feel that you have to do the pickle, okay? It's an option. It's not a necessity. Now, a true Cuban sandwich has to have it. Some people out there maybe want to kill me at this point because I'm saying it's optional. Again, this stuff's personal preference, guys, all right? So the mustard, I'm gonna take that, just kind of drizzle over the top of the pickles. And you don't want to go crazy with it, just enough to get some really good coverage and really good flavor. All right, so there we go. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. We like simple. Simple is good. Especially when working out, you've had a long day at work. We don't want complex, we want easy. Saves complex for the weekend. All right, so here we go. Gonna have that all over the top of the sandwich. Put that in my bowl, leave that here. Take that around, put that in my sink, and cheese. So just start layering the cheese. Now, my suggestion would be when you actually put this in the pan, which I've preheated this pan to medium, so by the time I actually get it on there, it's gonna have a nice sizzle to it. Start cooking it right away. But my suggestion is when you start doing this, what I want you to do is make sure that you have this with cheese side down first. Why? Because if you don't, the cheese won't melt and has much time on the actual fire, so you want to give the cheese the most time you possibly can to get nice and melted, all right? So, there we go. It's thick. And I know, guys, those of you out there are Cuban sandwich aficionados, you're looking at this going, man, that is thick. I get it, but at the same time, I'm a native Texan, so I like a lot of meat. I like a lot in my sandwich. I like less bread, more meat. Feel free to adjust this. This works for my diet. May not work for yours. But I'm gonna take that over and flip that up like that. A little pressure on it. Then I'm gonna top my pan, get the cooking spray going, spray this as well, and then by the time I'm done, I'm actually gonna make this easier on myself and just flip it like so. Old restaurant technique, use it if you want, you don't have to. I'm gonna preemptively spray this other side as well as I'm cooking. So take that and put that in. And guys, you're seeing me work with my hands a lot. I've worked around fire, I've worked around hot food. This stuff doesn't bother me. For some of you out there, it actually might, so I do recommend using any kind of spatula, using a fork, using something that doesn't burn you to make this a little easier on yourself. Again, my hands, just a little bit numb from years of doing this. And you'll start to hear a good sizzle. You'll start to kind of get a good smell from the actual tortilla cooking. All right, simple as that. And you don't have to have this thing down forever. I mean, the key is getting a nice, good crisp on the tortilla. That's your mission here, okay? And once you're kind of getting there and you got to feel you don't want to burn it, you want to take it and drag it over. And yes, you may lose some of the meat. That's okay. But as you can tell, starting that process, we're getting a nice, good brown on the actual tortilla. That's what we want to see, all right? Let it cook, let it do its thing. Again, this is why you want to preheat this stuff though, right? You don't want this cold because you can see already one side's done. In another couple of seconds, the other side's gonna be done as well. So you don't want a completely burnt tortilla. You want to have the food hot inside and ready to eat when you're done with it, not having to microwave or do something else goofy with it, okay? Preheat, room temperature at least, make it easier. Let it crisp, and then the one thing that I need to grab here, off camera, is a knife. Now you don't have to get a huge knife like this, you can get a much smaller knife, but making effective quesadillas, we've got to cut this thing down, use whatever you want. All right, so we're getting there, and I think we are just about ready. So here we go. We're gonna take that, transfer it to the plate here. Got that set. Turn our stove off. Put this back here. Okay. We've got that taken care of. We've got the heat out of the way. Got the danger of fire, burning yourself, burning your kids, burning anybody around you. Done. That's it. That's what's going to look like when you're done. Nice and crispy. Simple. Take your knife And you want to make, depending on the size of your tortilla. So I can make actually 4 pieces out of this. Take it here, start on the end, and just cut all the way through. Simple.
Just whistle while you work and cheerfully together.
You can also do this on a cutting board if you want. It's completely up to you. You don't use a plate. I just don't want to waste anything else. I've already got this done. I'm going to eat it right from the plate. Why bother the cutting board? So we have it. We have our utensils up. And we have our wonderful Cuban sandwich quesadilla. You saw it here first. You can thank me later on. Send me some emails. Give me some reviews. Tell me what you think. But more than anything else, I want you to remember, something like this for me is about 450 calories, 460, 80 grams of protein. You can dial that back. Feel free to make it smaller. Feel free to go crazier with it. Add onions, add bacon, the turkey bacon. But when I say bacon, I mean healthy bacon, not the crazy stuff. Make it your own. All right, that's what I want you to do. Make this your own. Take it, be creative, but more than anything else, go try it. Don't just watch these videos and go, oh, that sounds good. Make the time to go get the ingredients, bring it home, give it a shot. You're going to love it. So again, PB J Cooking, John Pardue. Please like my channel, follow me on YouTube. So guys, Cuban Sandwich Quesadilla.
Ma chère mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. And now, we invite you to relax, let us pull up a chair, as the dining room proudly presents your dinner. Be our guest.